Hey guys, it's RCK and I'm glad to have you back here again. And today I want to go over something very interesting, something you always want to make sure that you are casting in your battles, and that is going to be morale spells. Not just things like fright and stuff like that, but of course things like wailing winds, blood rain, things that really target your enemies or your opponent's morale, because that's really hitting them on a different axis here. Because we'll go ahead and look at this battle that I had in one of my games. It was a sub position. I'm playing as EA Ermor. You will not look at we'll only see the battle since this is still a ongoing game. This is one of the current turns. But I wanted to show you a few things. So now this is EA Ermor against EA Macon. We were fighting in someone else's capital. This is I started the sub position. I got into a 2v1 against me. I destroyed the first person's army. Another player took their capital, and then I killed Tirnog. And then I took their capital, and then Macon came up on me, and they said they needed space, so they took the capital from me. I backed off, and I was like, okay, okay, I got you. And so I, of course, sieged the capital back, and then stormed it. And just from looking here, like we have some pretty experienced troops here all down the line. Like we have been fighting for a long time, and our troops have done relatively well. And now I'm talking all of our troops are pretty experienced. Three experienced pips. I thought I saw some fours in there earlier. But yeah, they are all fairly experienced. They've been fighting for a very long time. We have a lot of Rotarius here, and this was just created within the last two turns, I believe. Since Macon has took the capital from us, a lot of these Velites here in the back, just a nice chaff unit to have. Um, I considered using flaming arrows, but due to the fact that we were fighting like mechanical men that have 15 fire resistance, other units back here I figured it wasn't really that useful for me. I figured the flaming arrows would hurt me more than hurt them since we don't have fire resistance. Here you see that their choice of chaff here was Clockwork Soldiers. They have a lot of this Discobolus, whatever they are, they throw bronze discs. We see their god here. Not sure why he kept the Seal of Solomon on his, or Ring of Solomon, Seal of Solomon, on his Pretender. Definitely should have took that off, changed it for something else. But pretty strong. He has a lot of Gigante soldiers here. Pretty high protection, 21. Kind of worried about that. Worried about the 25 protection on bulls here for sure. Also being fear or slash, blunt, and pierce resistant, along with all these nice other elemental resistances. Large mage core here. He is brought into a battle here. Lots of stuff here going on. Other than that, I did see some astral mages. I saw maybe some foul vapor stuff. Not too sure. Other than that, that's about it as far as his battle goes. I think his god, right now it's at 32. I think it goes up to like 35 or 36 or something. So very difficult mage to kill or god to kill there. I mean, our Equites, of course, can be dealing around 18 damage, so we're not very strong. Of course, our Rotarius, this is really the main reason why I bought them, was to have the 22 pierce damage here, maybe dealing some chip damage to some of these guys, some of these very high prot troops. And of course, they're going to be very strong, and they have really good skills here, and they're going to be hitting us back for really hard, so we're going to have to worry about that. But I did know what his army was. I sent a scout into the fort the last turn. I halfway expect him to break siege and try to fight me on the field. That's why I have all my Equites and these Rotarius here, in a or levies here in a line formation here. I kind of expect him to do that. Wasn't quite sure. Other than that, they probably should have been in a square formation, but it doesn't matter too much. I shouldn't have cast anything like fire elementals because all they did was get stuck here behind the walls and burn some of my guys up, which was very unfortunate. Um, on top of that, of course, I have someone here to cast rain, just due to the fact that I've seen this battle, I've seen this army fight before, and it seems like off script these mages like to cast combustion, things like that, some random fire spells, and I figured that would fatigue them out. Of course, not only having them fatigue out all these mages in the back. If we go for a long, prolonged battle, Wailing Winds is really going to take effect here. I hope that they kind of jumble up right here at the gate and take a really long time on this battle because that is going to cause everything in the back to rout. So let's go ahead and see what actually happens this battle. We have our formation moving up. This was summoned when I summoned the Sea King over here. Figured high HP regenerating troops would be nice put in the middle. I mean, they also hit very, very hard, so very nice to have there. And these metal clockworker guys, I mean, they're definitely chaff. 7 hit points, 10, they're very average. 18 protection's very nice. 11 morale resistance, 15 morale, but they are due to magical. They're magical beings, so they have to have magical leadership. So my assumption is either the god is leading them, or some of these mages back here are leading them. And with only 16 morale and stuff like that, it probably won't be too long till those guys are actually gone. These guys have 18, which is not too bad. These have 12. Wouldn't be surprised if they leave fairly fast. These have 13, which is kind of no, that's not that's magical resistance. They have 50 because they're a magical being. They're also mindless. So as long as we get the mage to route first, they will also route. And it looks like we have a lot of just guys sitting here in the middle. They are burning us up a lot, and if you notice, there's a lot of not combustion. I do see a lot of combustion. What was it called? Unforging. So you already see some major routing here, but you see a lot of our units. They have rusty equipment, damaged helmets, rusty equipment, damaged helmet, broken shield, rusty equipment. You'll see some weapons too. Everything's broken. Quite interesting. They're kind of fairly hurting our guys here. Definitely knocking them down a little bit. And we see back here, a lot of these mages are routing now. This is definitely a morale play on our part. You see a lot of them leaving. Even 19 morale at this point. Still casting combustion. Most of them at this point, they're also fatigued out from casting their fire spells off script while having natural rain up. So things are going fairly well for us. Everything's going about planned. But we have the Equite or Gigantes here are coming closer to the battle, so we do have to worry about that. More and more mages are leaving. I assume as soon as they become unfatigued, they are running away. And this battle is lasting for a very long time. Let's go ahead and put it a little bit faster here, of course. And like I said, still lasting a long time. All these clockwork soldiers here are just making it hard for the other troops to get in. More and more mages are leaving. At this point, I'm surprised that the Gigantes haven't ran away just for how long Wailing Winds have been up. Almost all of the mages are gone at this point, and we haven't fought them yet. Now the Gigantes are running, along with the disc throwers. I love how we're casting some fire spells too, of course. Love that off-script casting. The Bulls still haven't been able to get into the fight yet. The God is fighting, though. He's at 93 hit points, so he is very high. Yeah, but we have a few fire elementals back here that are kind of burning up our troops as time goes on. Yeah, but fire's going out a little bit. Still unfortunate. A lot per, what's it called? Petrification here. I think due to this shield. Yeah, Petrify Attacker 12 versus MR. Which we do have magic resistance up, don't we? Yes, we magic bonus. Yeah, I think we do have magic resistance up. Or anti-magic, I mean. What does it look at? 15. 21, that was a heavy hit. So down to 59 hit points. All these other guys have routed except for this one commander here. What is his morale? 30 morale. Yeah, he is. He's going to take a while before he routes. And I'm sure they're on guard commander back there. Some of our Equites are catching on fire. Most of our Retarius, they're being petrified. Was he paralyzed? Yeah, for a long time. Ooh, okay. But his defense skill his defense skill and attack skill is down to 0. He still has 33 protection, 75 hit points, magical resistance of 21. So very very high fatigue there. Very high fatigue. Put this on fast forward. I'm sure he's routed at this point. No, still in the battle. How many turns is this going on for? Actually, how do I tell what turn it is? I forget. Show grid, damage. I'm sure there's a button. I don't remember. That's the battle log. No. Show grids. I do not remember what button it is to add the turn timer on. I know there is one. I just don't remember at the time. Down to 28 hit points, and he is broken as well. So looking at killing him for sure. This other guy, he looks like he's paralyzed, and he is for a long time. 22 damage with a claw if they're able to hit him. I mean, attack skill 0, defense skill 0, not to worry. But he does have 30 protection, so shouldn't be able to deal too much damage to him. Looks like the god is gone at this point, and we have finally taken out this other, looked like a hero of some sort. So that was a very, very strong, or very, very interesting battle that we had there. So this is the results from it. We lost 36 equites. Painful. Don't like how many equites we lost there. 100 levies. Don't like that either. Rotarius of 30. Don't know how many we actually lost after that because, you know, if it shows Rotarius, it only shows the amount that died. You don't know the amount that actually left you. Lost our 3 Troll Guard, but they did get 7 kills. We lost the Elder Cyclops, 33 E4s, First Gigante, Great Archon, King. Yeah, I'm sure he's a hero of some sort. A Saddle Seer. 395 Clockwork Soldiers. So yeah, very, very interesting battle there, and that's just to kind of remind people that you definitely need to keep your eye in kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say prevent, but if you want to have a long battle, have a long battle. Normally, if you want to have a long battle, you will be the one casting the fatigue spells, whereas if you want a very, very fast battle, you probably won't be casting those spells. Um, Things like mass flight, stuff like that, will definitely help you out when speeding up the battle, because it definitely seemed like our units got caught up on the walls. I'm sure if there was a battle on the field, it would have gone a whole lot faster due to the fact of just the units being able to fight each other on a much larger scale instead of just fighting them in that tiny like 3 space square. Or that my troops did kind of get into the wall a little bit more, so it's probably about 10 to 15 squares they're fighting on instead of fighting on the whole battlefield. So what we could do, we can go over to, let me see, switch it over. Go to window capture and turn that on, and we should have the mod inspector up here. And I don't think I have. Do I need to fix this a little bit? Don't know how it's looking on your screen right now. Let me pull that over. That should be fine the way it is. If not, I'll fix it in a little bit. I think that should be right. So let's look at another spell that I mentioned here, and that would be a Blood Rain. So Blood 7, very, very high in blood. It only costs 3 blood slaves though, but it gives you -4 morale on everyone on the battlefield. So that would be pretty devastating, especially to things like slaves, stuff like that. Not only that, even if you have morale 15, I mean, dropping from 15 to 11 is pretty big deal, especially if Wailing Winds is up. And let's go ahead and pull that spell up too. Wailing, nope, that's not it. Wailing Winds. Evocation 6. Now this is a easier one to definitely get to. It only requires 2 death gems, so you could actually cast it with a death 3 Air 1, or you could use a booster with a Def 2 Air 1 to get it up to a Def 3, give them extra Death Gem, and then you'll still be able to cast this spell, but it'll cost you 3 Death Gems. But it's a very, very pivotal spell that needs to be cast almost every battle, of course. So those are two very good spells. This one you don't see as much because it's a little bit higher, being Blood 7. People normally don't go that high. You need a Blood 3 to cast it. Um, and it does hurt everybody on the field, not just you, or not just them. It will also affect your troops as well, so it's quite interesting there. So very, very fun stuff to look at there. And there's also a lot of mages, like, I mean, there are not mages, but necessarily, but units that also have not have morale placed to them, like LA Tien Cheese units. Let's go ahead and look at them. Let's bring those guys up. LA Tien Chi. Now, where are the ancestral vessels here? They have weapons like the Howling Bow. So extra effect on damage is lesser fear. Damage 2 cost fear. Number of attacks 1. So every time this weapon hits is going to be causing a magical, kind of like a magic spell to happen, which is just fear. And we'll look that up, of course. Let's see here. Should be death. Life or no, I'm going too far. I'm not sure where it's at. It might be called something else. That was just fear. Let's look through real fast. Should have brought this up before we started. I thought it was like a Death 1 type thing. Dust, weakness, ghost grip, frighten. That's what it's called. Spells feel, or the spell fills the target with fear, causes fear 6. So it's quite interesting there. It's definitely going to bother your morale checks and stuff like that, because you know units can also carry fears, like a fear aura almost. This casting frighten here, I mean, it can definitely work if it's casted enough times. So quite interesting, all these spells here. Definitely keep an eye on them. Kind of think about them, because these are very, very interesting spells that you see people cast a lot. Not necessarily frighten. You won't necessarily see these units. And I'd say Blood Rain's kind of in the middle. I've seen it cast before, but you don't see it cast too often. But Wailing Winds is a pretty big deal. So yeah, pretty good stuff. And there's also Terror here. And if off the top of my head, these are all the ones that I can think of. And Terra is basically a Frighten. It's just a AoE, a larger AoE spell here. Just trying to hit a bigger area, of course. So very interesting. All a lot of fun here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Other than that, it was just a battle that I had. And I was like, man, that spell really did some work in that one. I wanted to kind of show it off there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.